All right, let's talk about something that is just so frustrating. Self-sabotage. You know, that invisible force that trips you up right when you're on the verge of a breakthrough? Today, we're going to dive in and figure out what is really going on. I mean, have you ever been there? You are so close to the finish line. You're about to launch the business, you're finally going to ask for that promotion, or maybe you're about to commit to a really great relationship, and then, boom, out of nowhere, you start procrastinating, or you pick a fight, or you just stop. It literally feels like a part of you is slamming on the emergency brake. Today, we're going to figure out why that happens.
Okay, let's get a clear definition on the table. What is self-sabotage really? Put simply, it's getting in your own way. It's when your actions, and a lot of the time you don't even realize you're doing it, end up creating roadblocks that stop you from getting what you say you want. It's this crazy conflict between what you think you want and what you actually do. And listen, if any of this is starting to sound familiar, you are so not alone. I mean, just take procrastination. That's probably the most common form of self-sabotage, right? Well, it's a chronic thing for about 20% of adults. Think about that. That's 1 in every 5 people regularly, hitting the brakes on their own success.
Okay, so the big question is, why? Why on earth would we do this to ourselves? It makes no sense, right? It's completely counterintuitive. But the reason, it's probably not what you think. And here's a hint. It's not because you have no willpower, and it's definitely not a character flaw. It's something, well, it's a lot more surprising.
And this is the idea that changes everything. Self-sabotage isn't a flaw. It's not you being weak or lazy or broken. It's actually an outdated protection system. Think of it like this. It's your subconscious mind trying to protect you using an old, outdated program. It's a defense mechanism that sees a threat, even when that threat is the very success you're chasing.
This is where that internal tug of war happens. You, your conscious mind, are saying, let's get that promotion. But deep down, your subconscious protector is screaming, whoa, hold on. More responsibility means way more chances to fail. Or you want to find a loving relationship, but that protector part remembers, hey, last time we were vulnerable, we got hurt. It is a constant battle between what you're reaching for and what you're afraid of.
And this battle is actually happening inside your brain. It's like a three-way fight. You've got your amygdala, that's your brain's alarm system, and it can't tell the difference between a real physical threat, like a tiger, and an emotional one, like getting criticized. It just yells, danger! Then you have your prefrontal cortex, the logical CEO of your brain trying to calm everything down, but honestly, that gets exhausting. And while all that's going on, the reward-seeking part of your brain just goes, you know what, this is stressful, let's just scroll through our phones. That feels good right now.
And this leads to a really key idea called secondary gain. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the hidden subconscious benefit you get from a bad habit. So that procrastination or avoiding a tough conversation, it's giving you something. And usually that something is the feeling of safety or staying in your comfort zone. Your brain would rather deal with the devil it knows than the angel it doesn't.
So this whole protective instinct, it's sneaky. It wears different disguises. Let's call them your saboteurs. And spotting these guys in your own life, that's the first huge step to getting back in the driver's seat. So let's meet the usual suspects.
First up, of course, the most famous one of all, the procrastinator. And let's be super clear. This is not about being lazy. It's all about avoiding a bad feeling. If a task makes you feel anxious or bored or just insecure, putting it off gives you this immediate little hit of relief. The big problem? That relief is super temporary, and the anxiety about the task just gets bigger and bigger.
There's this quote from Dr. Tim Pickle, who's a top researcher on this stuff, and it just hits the nail on the head. He says, procrastination is an emotion regulation problem, not a time management problem. And that's it, right? You can have all the fancy planners and apps in the world, but if you don't deal with the feeling behind the procrastination, the fear, the anxiety, you're always going to find a way to delay. The takeaway is huge. You got to manage your emotions, not just your schedule.
Okay, next up is the perfectionist. And this saboteur is so tricky because it looks like a good thing. I mean, who doesn't want to do excellent work? But here's the trap. It sets the bar so impossibly high that you're just paralyzed. The fear of creating something that isn't absolutely flawless makes it feel safer to just not start at all. That whole "I'll do it when I can do it perfectly" line, it really just means I'll probably never do it.
Oh, and then there's the people pleaser. This one is all about a deep, deep fear of being rejected.
So what do? You say yes to everyone and everything. Your calendar is packed with other people's priorities. Your brain thinks it's keeping you safe and liked, but the real result is you have zero time or energy left for your own goals. And you end up feeling burnt out and resentful.
And last but not least, the imposter. This one is so ironic because it usually shows up right after you've achieved something. You get that big win, and instead of celebrating, a little voice in your head goes, "That was just luck. Any minute now, they're going to find out I'm a total fraud." And that fear of being exposed makes you downplay your success and shy away from the next challenge because it's safer to stay out of the spotlight.
Okay, so we've talked about what it is and why it happens. Now for the most important part. What do we do about it? How do we actually break this cycle? Well, the good news is you absolutely can rewire these old patterns. And it's not about fighting your brain. It's about learning to work with it.
It comes down to this really simple but incredibly powerful three-step plan. Step 1, notice the trigger. What's the feeling that starts it all? Step 2, question the belief. Challenge that automatic story in your head. And step 3, take a micro step. Just one tiny, almost ridiculous little step forward. That's it. Notice, question, act. Let's break it down real quick.
Okay, so step 1 is all about noticing. But here's the key, with zero judgment. When you feel that urge to put something off, don't beat yourself up. Just pause. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Okay, I'm feeling really anxious about this. Then you can even name the pattern. There's my perfectionism showing up again. Just doing that, just noticing, creates this tiny, crucial space between the feeling and your usual reaction.
All right, step 2. Now it's time to put on your detective hat. Get curious about your own mind. That voice that's telling you you're going to fail, don't just accept it. Cross-examine it. Ask it questions. What am I really afraid of here? Is it that someone might criticize my work? Okay, and then what? Will I survive that? When you start questioning these thoughts, you realize they're often just stories. Stories based on feelings, not facts. And finally, we get to the most important step of all, taking a micro step. Your brain is in panic mode, so you have to show it that this thing isn't actually dangerous. You don't have to write the whole report. Just open the document. You don't have to do a full hour at the gym. Just put on your workout clothes. These tiny, tiny wins build momentum. They send a powerful message to your nervous system that says, see, we did the scary thing and we're okay. Because action is the ultimate antidote to fear. All right, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last really powerful reframe for this whole thing.
It is so easy to look at your self-sabotage and just think of it as a dead end, a sign that you're broken.
But what if it's not a dead end? What if it's a map? A map with a big flashing arrow pointing directly at your deepest fears. And because of that, it's also pointing to your greatest opportunities for growth. The thing you keep running away from, that is almost always the exact thing you need to confront to get to the next level. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you feel that urge to sabotage yourself, what if, instead of getting angry or frustrated, you just got curious? What if you asked yourself, okay, what is this trying to teach me?